For a long time, Hollywood didn't reject SB19. And it didn't embrace them either. It did something far more dangerous. It watched and waited. No headlines. No hype campaigns. No loud validation. Just silence. And in the entertainment industry, silence doesn't mean disinterest. It means evaluation. Because Hollywood doesn't move on excitement. It moves on certainty. And in 2025, that certainty finally arrived. Not with a viral explosion. Not with a trending hashtag. But with something much more powerful. Recognition. Today, we're breaking down why Hollywood is finally paying attention to SB19, why this moment didn't happen overnight, and why this level of attention can't be reversed. Stay with me, because this isn't just about a group. It's about how global pop power actually works. Section 1: Why raw talent is never enough. Hollywood has never been impressed by talent alone. History proves this over and over again, especially when the talent comes from outside the West. Plenty of artists were brilliant. Plenty were skilled. Plenty went viral. And most of them were still ignored. Why? Because Hollywood doesn't reward creativity first. It rewards risk reduction. Executives don't ask, "Is this impressive?" They ask, "Will this still work when attention fades?" That's the real test. Latin pop wasn't embraced because it sounded good. It was embraced when touring numbers, crossover demand, and market behavior made ignoring it financially reckless. K-pop didn't break through because of choreography alone. It broke through when training systems, fandom economics, and global touring reliability made success repeatable. Hollywood doesn't chase moments. It waits for patterns. And SB19 didn't suddenly become worthy of attention in 2025. They crossed into something much more important. They became structurally inevitable. Section 2: Why 2025 was different. If you were looking for fireworks in 2025, you probably missed the point. Because this wasn't a breakout. Breakout years are loud. They demand attention. They beg to be seen. 2025 was something else entirely. It was quiet. And that's exactly why it mattered. Instead of flooding feeds, SB19 began appearing in places where cameras don't chase trends. Invite-only rooms. Industry-filtered stages. Spaces where applause doesn't matter, assessment does. This was the year overpromotion stopped being necessary. Output became intentional. Visibility became selective. Access became controlled. And that shift sends a message louder than any viral campaign. In entertainment, artists who explain themselves signal uncertainty. Artists who narrow access signal leverage. The industry noticed, long before the public did. Because insiders don't react. They observe. And what they saw was consistency under pressure. Section 3: The moment Hollywood changed its question. There's a silent turning point in every global act's trajectory. It's when the industry stops asking, "Who are they?" and starts asking, "How far can this go?" That question doesn't come from hype. It comes from trust. In 2025, SB19 crossed that threshold. Not with spectacle. Not with forced Western validation. But with something much harder to earn. Reliability. They didn't just perform well. They performed predictably. And in Hollywood, predictability is power. Section 4: Why live performance matters more than views. Hollywood is deeply skeptical of internet-built fame. And honestly, it should be. Digital popularity collapses under real-world pressure all the time. That's why live performance is the final filter. Not choreography. Not streaming numbers. Not aesthetics. Durability. Can an act deliver the same quality on the 50th show as on the first? Can they stay locked when sound fails, expectations spike, or conditions change? Elite stages don't test talent. They test resilience. SB19 didn't just pass that test. They normalized it. Their rehearsal discipline mirrors Western touring systems. Precision over improvisation. Repetition over spontaneity. Consistency over spectacle. Every movement is built to survive fatigue. Every vocal choice is engineered for longevity. This isn't about impressing fans. It's about protecting performance integrity. Hollywood noticed because volatility is expensive. One weak performance can undo years of trust. SB19 doesn't perform like an internet act chasing moments. They perform like professionals safeguarding a brand. And trust earned on stage travels faster than any algorithm ever could. Section 5, Viral versus Bankable, the real divide. Viral success excites the internet. Bankability excites Hollywood. And those two things are rarely the same. Virality is curiosity. Bankability is commitment. Views don't guarantee attendance. Clicks don't guarantee loyalty. Ticket buyers do. SB19's audience doesn't just watch. They show up. They plan. They travel. They return. That behavior signals stability. And stability is the most valuable currency in entertainment economics. Streaming numbers fluctuate. Touring power doesn't. Hollywood understands that long-term revenue comes from repeatable demand, not explosive peaks. SB19's fan base scales across cities. Survives time gaps. Responds to higher price points. That's not hype behavior. That's market behavior. And from an executive standpoint, that translates to something incredibly rare. Predictable revenue. Section 6, Why Discipline is a Brand Asset. In Hollywood, unpredictability is expensive. Controversy. Public meltdowns. Erratic behavior. They don't just damage images, they collapse deals. That's why discipline has become a luxury trait. SB19's public image is professional without feeling manufactured. No viral scandals. No sudden implosions. No chaos masquerading as authenticity. Each member maintains composure under pressure. That's not accidental. It's strategic. In an era where instability often gets mistaken for realness, discipline becomes differentiation. Hollywood doesn't invest in excitement. It invests in certainty. And SB19 offers low risk with high upside. That combination is rare and valuable. Section 7, The Gap Hollywood was waiting for. Hollywood rarely creates new categories. It looks for gaps. By 2025, K-pop saturation in the West was undeniable. The systems were built. The templates were established. But that dominance left something missing. A non-Korean, globally disciplined act with Southeast Asian roots, adaptable, fluent, and scalable. That gap existed quietly. And SB19 stepped into it. They are not a replica of K-pop. They are a new blueprint. Polished production. Linguistic versatility. Cultural adaptability. Hollywood doesn't want copies anymore. It wants structures that can expand. SB19 doesn't compete with existing acts. They occupy a space that was empty. That's why the attention feels different. They aren't an experiment. They're a solution. Section 8, Industry Validation versus Public Applause. Hollywood doesn't measure success by likes. Social metrics are signals, not guarantees. What truly matters is industry validation. Respect from the people who control stages, festivals, and deals. One quiet endorsement outweighs millions of casual viewers. Because reputation economics operate behind closed doors. Producers don't cheer. They evaluate. Every performance builds a silent record. And in 2025, SB19's file changed status. From observe to invest. Invitations arrived without publicity. Conversations happened privately. Once that trust forms, attention becomes structural. Not temporary. That's the difference between being noticed and being embedded. Section 9, From Representation to Leadership. Early in their rise, SB19 carried a symbolic role. Proof that P-pop could compete globally. By 2025, that role evolved. They became leaders. And leadership carries weight. Mistakes aren't forgiven the same way. Expectations increase. Scrutiny sharpens. But SB19 didn't retreat. They elevated. They moved from proof of concept to blueprint. From participation to pace setting. Hollywood recognizes leadership because leadership shapes markets. And once that shift happens, it's irreversible. Final thoughts. Hollywood attention is rarely permanent. But when it arrives at the right moment, it changes the architecture. SB19's rise in 2025 wasn't noise. It was alignment. Years of discipline. Strategic patience. Consistent delivery. Hollywood didn't discover SB19. It finally acknowledged what had already become unavoidable. At this level, visibility doesn't rewind. It compounds. SB19 isn't chasing relevance anymore. They're defining it. And if you want a front row seat to where global pop is heading next, stay locked in. Because this story isn't ending. It's accelerating.